And I'm happy to say that our very first franchise owner is still a franchise owner today.
Oh, wow.
He owns 9 locations.
Hey, welcome to the Franchising 360 Show YouTube edition. We got some bonus footage with our guest, Pirtek. Joining us now is the CEO of Pirtek, Kim Gubera. Kim, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the invite.
And as much as I practice people's names, there's always that like hint of like, oh my gosh, I just got it wrong, but I was correct.
You were
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Kim. Woo, got it. All right. So, Kim, we want to talk to you more about Pirtek, but I always think this is a very definitely a people, business, and industry. Give us your scoop into how did you get yourself into franchising?
Yeah, like a lot of people, I think, Tim, it happened accidentally. I worked for a company, a lawn care company, a very large one, and they had a franchise division. So I went over there when I got my accounting degree. I did things the long way, so I was already kind of far along in life. And went there and worked for them for 16 years while they grew from 50 locations to 250 locations. Wow. And so my journey from my career there was from staff accountant to director of finance. And then I came over to Pirtek in 2016 as their controller, and mainly because I wanted to be in the franchise business again. I really liked that aspect of it, helping people see their goals come to fruition. And while I was at Pirtek, I became their CEO in 2019.
Awesome. Well, congratulations for that. That's quite that's the ultimate climb, right? On the corporate ladder. And what are some of the things you've been in franchising for a while and now with Pirtek? Maybe some of the things that you really like because you've been there a while now, right? What are some things you like about Pirtek?
Well, there's a lot, so many things. I think it's a great business model, all the business things.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's a solid group of owners that we have that are committed to a quality product or service to our customers, and then we have a really strong culture of excellence, and that permeated from the founders and owners of the business. And it has lived through till today. And that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on.
Yeah. We have, at Friend Coach, we've had a few of our clients go through the process with Meet to Team Day. And we had one recently, in fact, we just did a podcast episode with Zach not too long ago. And he raved about the people within Pirtek. And most brands are going to say, oh, we got a great culture or whatever. But he had actually been to a couple other franchises and visited and just didn't have a good feeling, and he just left. Like so I appreciate you saying that, but it is real, and you guys have done a great job with that. I know that's not always easy to do. So and very protective of your owners, which I like.
We are protective of our owners, and even people coming in. We're doing a lot of heavy vetting, not just for candidates, but also for our employees.
Yeah,
they need to be people that will be passionate about the same things we're passionate about today.
Yeah. So this is in an industry that is not sexy, right?
Wait, really?
Industrial and hydraulic hoses. Most people don't know anything about it. So as an owner, you can see all the benefits of, like when John was on earlier talking about, it's recession resistant for recession resistant businesses. It's never going away, but most people don't know anything about it. So talk a little bit about the training aspect within Pirtek. I think first, kind of as an owner, so if I come in there and I don't know the first thing about this, but I've got all the things that you guys are looking for as an owner, I don't know about the hoses. Walk through some of the training that you do for that.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive and ongoing, I would say, because anybody that's been in the hydraulic repair business for a while will tell you you don't know everything on day one. There's actually some creativity that goes into it in providing solutions to customers at certain times. So we do an initial training for all of our new franchise owners of 1 week of technical training where they are literally doing hands-on. We have actual workstations for them to work on and practice on, and they have a 33-year Pirtek employee training them. Okay. So probably the best in all of the brand. And then the second week they do business type training. But we also do that technical training for any of their technicians that they want to send, not just in the beginning, but ongoing. And then the other thing I like to point out is for those technicians, because they're the ones that are actually doing the creative stuff.
Right.
There's a level 1, 2, and 3 where they can go through a certain time period of training and online training to actually earn those different levels within the business.
So they can kind of almost level up themselves
can.
and not just a job, but really have a career path.
And that's absolutely why we did it. Honestly, we didn't do it because of the technical part, because they'll figure that out sometimes in the field. But especially after 2021 and some of the labor issues, we wanted to make sure that people knew that you can make a career out of this. In fact, 8 of our technicians have become franchise owners.
Oh, wow.
And they're usually very, very successful right off the bat. So we're pretty proud of that as well.
Right. And I'm guessing, so, and you mentioned the training for the technicians, not just initially, but if I'm an owner 3 years down the road, like I don't have to worry about, geez, can I train them or can my people train them? They're going to be trained properly straight from you guys, correct?
Absolutely. If the owner is willing to send them there and, have that expense for the travel, we don't really charge them anything other than a nominal fee for materials.
Right.
And we offer that as a service.
Excellent. And so, and Pirtek as a brand has been around since 1980, I believe, right?
1980, started in Australia. And then in 1998, started here in the U.S. So we've been around for 27 years. And I'm happy to say that our very first franchise owner is still a franchise owner today.
Oh, wow.
He owns 9 locations. And I like to share that because it goes back to the culture again. Right. I think that tells people a lot about, hey, if I really like the brand, I'm going to stick around for 27 years. Right.
And that it's not going anywhere. Yes. Right. And so, and people may not have heard of, just people sitting home may not have heard of Pirtek, and it's not the customer, right? But it's a name brand that people who your customers are know it well, and if they don't, you can pretty much name drop some really big customers, I would assume.
We can.
Right?
We can, but I won't.
Right.
But yes, we can.
Right. So again, it kind of helps the owners be able to get business going early on. And are some of those big customers, do they end up being repeat customers or customers around the country?
Yeah, we just actually did some analysis on repeat customers, and it's about 80% of repeats. So that's a pretty high number. We're excited about that because people they have these enormous amounts of machines, and the hydraulic hose is going to fail at some point just by usage, also heat or cold extremes, or if even somebody's not using it correctly. There's a lot of reasons. So it's not going anywhere. There's always going to be a need for it. In fact, there's $1.8 billion worth of hydraulic hose repair in the U.S. every year.
Wow. What do we need for a location for this, or any sort of location, equipment, stuff? What's that look like for your owners?
So we actually have 2 models. The first one is what it started out as, which is a brick and mortar location with probably 3 vans, because the mobile work is one of the big focuses that we have, obviously to keep people operating, but it is nice to have the brick and mortar as well. And then we have a tier 2 model that allows some people to enter in that maybe aren't ready to do the brick and mortar yet. And they can start with 2 vans in a territory, and then it grows over 3 years to the brick and mortar location.
And when you say brick and mortar, we're not talking about like, Class A real estate at the corner of Main and Main, right? This is just a place for kind of what goes on in that location.
Yeah, in an industrial park, maybe next to some of those customers that we're not going to name. That's always convenient, but they do like to have a counter there because some people will want to take the hose off themselves and bring it to a counter. That's historically how it all used to be done many, many years ago. The mobile aspect of it is actually something that our founder for Pirtek started in Sydney, Australia. People always took it to the counter, so he started the actual mobile part of that.
Gotcha. Which again, we all like the convenience, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're going to DoorDash or Uber Eats the hydraulic hose repair.
Or get your dog groomed. I mean, now everything's mobile, right?
Right. Exactly. So, I'm going to throw kind of one more thing at you here. There's so many things I know we could still talk about. What's something you really want people to know about Pirtek that maybe we haven't discussed?
Yeah, I think I already let it out of the bag, and that is that my franchise owner that was number 1 is still a franchise owner today, because I like that aspect of it. It's important to me. And actually, we just nominated him for Franchisee of the Year from the IFA, and he actually is going to be receiving that award at the IFA.
Oh, wow.
But I say that again because our owners are very important to us. We really did start more with the owner-operator model back
Yeah.
27 years ago, and now it has kind of morphed into maybe a 50-50 of that, the investor type, because people realize that there's big value here to this business.
Yeah.
And I think just the one thing I would say is that we vet pretty hard
Yeah.
for all positions to make sure that we keep the integrity and excellence of the brand.
Yeah. And I would say just kind of to that, we talked, Danielle and I talked a couple weeks ago on the show about validation calls and how big of a step that is in the process. And there are some franchises out there that are going to be like, hey, we got 100 owners, but these are the only 3 you can talk to. You guys are just like, I don't care. Talk to whoever you want, which speaks volume of that culture, and that's everybody is there. It's kind of treated like a family, and frankly, that they're all happy, which is kind of the whole goal. So
Yeah, and we also want to make sure that people hear all of it.
Right.
Right. The good, the bad, and
Right.
there probably would be a little bit of ugly.
Right.
Because these are relationships, and even though they're business relationships, and sometimes that's inherent to happen, but we want people to know before they make that step.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to become an owner that is going to regret it.
Right. Absolutely. So, Kim, thank you so much for joining us for a little extra information about Pirtek.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
So, Kim Gubera, CEO of Pirtek USA. If you'd like to learn more, you can click on that little thing right there. And then check us out next week, Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Biz TV for our next episode of the Franchising 360 Show.